Today, I'm gonna blow your mind with a straw. Now I like this new setup of conversation because this is what I like to do. I like to teach people how to simplify your fitness, your workouts, your exercises, and I feel like this conversational way of doing it is a new thing I'm gonna try out for you. So let me know if you guys like this way of me doing these videos. Give it a thumbs up, or if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe for more of these as well. But today I'm gonna talk about leg exercises because it seems like there's a bunch of different content being shared on Instagram, YouTube about how you can best perform your leg exercises. And I'm gonna use a straw to give a little bit of an insight on how you can view this, and that there's nothing new out there, that even though there's someone who's saying that here's a brand new exercise that I created where you do a eccentric flex for 5 seconds, hold for 5 counts, then you go up for 5 seconds, all those tempo stuff has been around for a long time before that person is even born probably. So put that all away, here we go. So here's a simple exercise that we can go over in this video that I'm gonna show you, which is a split squat with the foot elevated. Don't worry about the foot elevated. All that does is that increases the range of motion. But what I want you to pay attention to is the shin angle. So if I have a knee right there, so say this is my knee, I'll make a little bend. This is the knee. Boom, there's your knee. Now, what we wanna do, this is your shin, this is your femur or your quads, your crosses, your upper leg, okay? Shin, boom. So here's a 90 degree. If you look at the muscles, the quadriceps over here, the hamstrings on here, the calves on here. When we're here, the lengthening of these muscles are pretty simple. All right, pretty similar, nice and balanced. This is good. Now, the more flexion that we create of the knee, what muscle is getting more stretched? The quad. The muscle that is lengthened the most is the muscle that's going to be activated the most. Remember that. Again, the muscle that is lengthened the most will be the muscle that is activated the most, which is more recruited, making sure that they're doing the brunt of the work, while the rest of the muscles are assisting with that movement. Are you following me? So if I am doing a split squat, as shown in the video, going down and my shin angle is going forward like this means that this quadricep is being activated more because why? Because it's lengthening more than the hamstring, okay? So now we have people who are talking about, well, you can do your heels elevated in order to do this new exercise called whatever they want to call it these days. All it is that we're increasing the range of motion of the shin. So if our heel is elevated, we have more likely that we're able to do this, causing more knee flexion, hence making sure we're creating more recruitment of the quad. Because why? Because the quad is lengthening more. All right, that's all this is, lengthening. If we're going to go more of a hamstring, we want to recruit more of the glutes and the hamstrings, we could do the same thing with the split squat. Same movement, but all we're doing is changing the angle. So rather than having a positive shin angle, which I like to simply call it, right? We're having a vertical perpendicular shin angle right here. And now what's getting stretched the most? It's gonna be our hamstrings and glutes doing the most of the work. Because there's less of a knee flexion, there's more of hips going back, more tension creating on the hamstrings and glutes, hence why you'll feel more of your glutes and hamstrings working in this position compared to this position. Am I making sense here? I feel like so often that we come across this time and age where there's so much information constantly being thrown at you about different workouts and different ways to do exercises, where it all comes down to the simple mechanics of your body positions and angle. It's a simple way for you to look at many of the exercises. If you want to have more quad development, you create more of a knee flexion. Hence why a lot of the weightlifting shoes out there have a heel lift naturally inside of it, because it allows them to get into better position where they can get more of a knee flexion, get lower into a squat position, and they come back up. Hold on, need a little coffee. I'm a little long-winded on this one. So now going from a knee flexion, now we can think of hip dominant movements like Roman deadlifts or sumo deadlifts or sumo squats, where we have more of a hip movement going on. What happens is that our shin angle stays perpendicular to the floor and our hips go back. So we're driving our hips backwards, back behind us. So we're creating more tension in our hamstrings and in glutes, which creates more motor unit recruitment, making sure that we are using those muscles in order to properly perform the movement. So we hip hinge back and we come back up into hip extension, which is, remember, hips up here, knees here, going back, perpendicular, hip dominant, hip hinge. Okay, now I know that was a very quick video, but I hope this gives you a clear understanding of how you can perform different exercises, how you can take one movement and perform different exercises by just changing the angle of the shin angle or knee flexion, how much knee flexion you create. Because remember, if you look at those two exercises that I showed before, where it's just the same movement, but depending on how I move my shin angle or where the weight's loading, the muscle that lengthens the most is the muscle that gets recruited. Say that again, the muscle that lengthens the most is the muscle that gets recruited the most. Now again, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be getting more of these. If you have any other questions about certain exercises that I want to break down to simplify what you have to focus on rather than making it more complicated and feel like there's a whole new wheel out there being invented, because there's none, let me know below. Yep, I'm gonna be making a video with a straw. Ah, shit.